Welcome to Democracy-ish. I'm Danielle Moody, and we are having incredible technical difficulties today. So I pray that this is streaming on YouTube and Substack. Hopefully we see folks soon. Hi, Wash.
Hi, Demetrius just said, good morning all from Southern California. So we at
Okay,
least
so
got one
somebody's
person.
watching.
So somebody's watching. This will be back up on YouTube for our usual audience, but there's been glitches. I think today's show is so hot and spicy that YouTube said, nope, can't allow it. And today's show was, oh, hey, people are there.
All right,
Hey,
people are
look,
there.
it works.
We're
Yay.
working. Okay.
The white supremacists couldn't keep us down. Folks, I have to apologize in advance because for the last 10 days, as you know, have been not battling, I've been having fun. I've been drinking my chai in a way. But as you all know, for those who don't know, the entirety of the right wing has come after me for the past 10 days because I responded to Donald Trump and the Trump administration's blatant xenophobia, white supremacy, and racism. I think we should just say the word racist from now on. Why waste words? They've gone against, first it was Afghans, Danielle, and then quickly they became all Muslims, and then it became Somalis. And as we have been talking about on this show, they're going after all brown and black people, Asian people, and also biracial people and white folks who are seen as race traitors, because this is what white supremacists do. This is the white supremacist agenda. So I've been in the thick of it for the past, I think now 10 days, as the entirety of the right wing has lost their mind because hit dogs holler, Danielle. Oh, they've been hollering because I drank my chai and tried to be like Bugs Bunny, and I poked them and needled them and mocked them and ridiculed them and talked about why they're losers and they have a loser's narrative and they've already lost. We could talk about all that. But as it's happening, folks, Danielle, because she's not a masochist like me, because she sleeps on time, because she enjoys her nice coffee, because she has excellent skin, she could be 20 or 72. We have no idea. I look like I'm 85 years old. We don't know. Danielle could be 93. We don't know. Black don't crack. So in making up this show, I just compiled all the evidence that shows how there are white supremacist regime playing for all the marbles, and to make the case why they should go back because they are actually traitors to the United States, the Constitution, and diversity. And then Danielle texts me an hour ago. She goes, "Watch, I'm so depressed. What the hell? I took the weekend off and what?"
I was basically, so I will say this. You know, Waj, I tell him every Monday, Democracy-ish is like trying to drink water through a fire hose. And it is because I believe in self-care and management of my nervous system that I take the weekends off. So I'm going through the rundown, folks, and I'm just going to tell you, brace yourselves, because everything that is happening in America that happened between Friday when we logged off at 1 o'clock to today is pretty fucking awful. And I almost said, I don't know if I can do the show today because I don't have it in me. So I just brace yourselves. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through it together. And I have to remind myself that America is in a really dark place, but this country has seen absolute worse, which is what they are trying to bring us back to. But I want you to understand that for every bad video, for every bad thing that you are going to see, there are thousands of people that showed up for ICE training, how to defend against ICE in New York City. Thousands. They were at capacity. I saw it on social media. I saw people old, young, black, queer, white, folks, elderly, there to try and figure out how to protect their neighbors. I'm walking down the street. I'm seeing people handing out flyers to different companies, different businesses. This is how you act if ICE comes around. So I want you to understand that while we go through to keep you aware, there are also really good things that are happening that are bringing community together. So let us I say that, and now here we go. Wash, please, by all means.
So we're going to get into this, folks, but I'm going to make the case why MAGA hates America. And specifically, Danielle, why these racists and the new MAGA movement hate the Constitution. I, in fact, will go a step further and say that they are traitors to the Constitution. And I will invite all of you to now be on the offense against them and call them traitors to the Constitution. They hate America, not me and Danielle and immigrants. They hate our freedoms. They hate our values. Let's start with the Constitution. We're going to talk about the 14th Amendment, but in the Constitution, it's very clear that if you're a child of immigrants, say, oh, I don't like me or Danielle, and suppose you're a parent is undocumented, or your parent is a naturalized citizen, or your parent is legally here but isn't a citizen yet, like, oh, I don't know, Melania Trump, and you have a baby. And suppose that baby's named, I don't know, Barron Trump. And he's the son of a criminal, a convicted criminal, Donald Trump, and a fraudster, and a man who partied with a pedophile. And his mom, Melania, is an immigrant. We still don't know why. We don't have all the answers, Danielle, as to how she got here. Why was she here, right? Like, why was she partying and working?
Didn't her and her family get some kind of genius scholarship?
Well, I'll tell you real quick before we get into this. So yeah, Melania, like, were you partying with Epstein? According to Michael Wolff, Jeffrey Epstein said the first time Donald Trump and Melania had sex was on his plane. Yeah. So anyway, those questions we still need to answer, but what we do know is that when she dropped Barron, anchor baby, when she dropped that anchor, she wasn't a citizen. She was legal here, but not a citizen. I just want you to know all these facts. It's very important because it reveals the game, especially when they do a compare and contrast, because they're so hypocritical. They lie so blatantly, right? That all the stuff they say, anchor baby, chain migration. Now, as Danielle said, after she became a citizen, thanks to the e-visa, known as the Einstein visa, given to those immigrants with extraordinary abilities that help the United States of America, she posed naked for magazines and is married to Trump, which is why she got the e-visa, otherwise reserved for, I don't know, brilliant students, conductors, artists, right? My father, actually, a criminal, got the e-visa, one of the first versions of the e-visa when he was here in the early 70s, which kept him from being deported. It's in my book. But anyway, that's what we have a lot in common, because, my parents are criminals. We'll talk about that later. And Melania got an e-visa, and I got an e-visa. So Barron Trump is an anchor baby. Why? His mother is an immigrant. Why? His mother was not a citizen when she was born here, right? All the stuff they say about us. Then, because she was a genius and got the e-visa for posing naked for magazines, what happened, Danielle? As Danielle said, chain migration. Her entire family came. Okay, who also came due to chain migration? Stephen Miller's family, Eastern European Jews, who also came thanks to chain migration. Wait for it. Donald Trump's father was an immigrant. Also, Mike Pence, and on and on and on. I just want you all to sit there and sit with that information for a second. Now, Daniel, can you go back to that? All right. They have been obsessed with birthright citizenship, which allows people like Barron to become a citizen if he was born here. It doesn't matter if his parents were undocumented or not undocumented. Stephen Miller, a white supremacist, most unelected, powerful mini Goebbels budget German, says, of all the destructive and ruinous policies aimed at the heart of a republic, few could compete with birthright citizenship. Every illegal alien, foreign visitor, and visa scammer, merely by giving birth on U.S. soil, can access unlimited welfare for life through their American child and send the extra cash back home to support the foreign village. That same child is granted full voting privileges until 18th birthday, making illegal aliens and their descendants one of the largest voting blocs in the United States. Under birthright citizenship, a terrorist and his terrorist wife can commit immigration fraud, come here as tourists, perpetrate a terrorist attack, give birth, and have an American child. Birthright citizenship is an atrocity, flatly and flagrantly incompatible with any concept of nationhood. Okay, Daniel, suppose I say I agree. Time for Barron Trump to go back.
I mean, so here is this is where I get really filled with rage, which is that everything that you just laid out showcases the complete and total hypocrisy, which at this point, I just don't have the energy to even point out anymore because it is just constant. And the reality is that we know this is how white nationalists and white supremacists have thought since the beginning of time. Immigration is good for me to come here, for me to kill off an indigenous population, for me to enslave people, for me to do these things and then claim this land as mine, right? Because their white Jesus told them so. And then they spread their hate and their messages all around the country, all around the world, and then get to decide who now gets to come in based on their skin tone, right? Like, this is white nationalist, white supremacist thinking. And this is who these people are. I'm so fucking tired of the phrase racially tinged. I'm so fucking tired of crackpot journalists saying, well, we don't know what is in these people's heart. No, we don't know what is in their heart because they don't have one, right? And so when you see that the Supreme Court of these United States, the most corrupt fucking Supreme Court this country has ever seen, has now decided to take up the Tennessee Attorney General's appeal that is on behalf of 24 states, that is challenging birthright citizenship, that is clearly given to people in the 14th Amendment of these United States. The Supreme Court had no business taking this up, except they have decided to because they are fucking corrupt and they are put in place in order to push forward Donald Trump's agenda and let us believe that, oh, the institutions are holding because these white supremacists in black cloaks are now there sitting and saying, well, we'll hear this case because everyone should be heard. I want people to understand this is fascism. This is fascism enabled by the Supreme Court of the United States that is being led by a man whose entire career has been about gutting the Voting Rights Act and turning this country back on its heel from 20th century progress, and that is Justice John Roberts. There is also, and you'll say, well, what about Clarence Thomas? What about him? Not all skin folk are kinfolk. Everybody knows this. So do you think that this Supreme Court has decided to take up this issue that is very explicit inside of the 14th Amendment because they're going to affirm the 14th Amendment? No. And I can just tell you that they have already made their decision, that it is a farce what they are doing. But like, this is the kind of things that people are not paying attention to because we're being flooded with so much other shit. But here it is.
Yeah. Go ahead and read this if you don't mind, for those who don't know.
So respectfully, there is no debate. The Anglo-American constitutional tradition of birthright citizenship has been unbroken for centuries, except for Black Americans.
Can you repeat that real quick, Danielle?
Except for Black Americans.
We'll get back to that.
Which is what the 14th Amendment was intended to remedy and secure in perpetuity. It's been settled law since medieval England. So the below was the debate over birthright citizenship gets very abstrusy very fast. So now that the issue will be heard by the Supreme Court, it's useful to keep in mind that this what is and is not contested.
Folks, they're revealing their entire racist supervillain plot. These are the world's most helpful Bond villains. There is no dog whistle. There is no whistle. There is no whisper. There is no euphemism. There is no, as Daniel said, whitewashing through racial trip-up, racial flare-up. They are telling you straight up. Just listen to Stephen Miller, the most powerful unelected white supremacist on earth. They want to end birthright citizenship, even though white people came here through birthright citizenship and became citizens. They want to end chain migration, even though Stephen Miller literally is here thanks to chain migration. They're all children of immigrants. By they, I'm talking about the white supremacists, because white people weren't here. White people. It's all a social construct. White, black, brown. It's all a social construct. We're all people. It's just melanin. It was created, these social constructs in the 17th century, to differentiate rich white landowners from everybody else. So they said, we're white and you're black. And white people weren't considered white in this country. What do I mean? The Irish, Daniel, weren't considered white in this country for a long time. If you're Irish and now you pass as white, go look at your history. We had signs in America that said, no black people. They weren't using black people for black people. It was the N-word. No dogs, no Irish. That's how much they hated the Irish. Even John F. Kennedy, when he was running for president, had to dispel centuries worth of like Irish hate by saying, I am more loyal to the Constitution and not the Pope, because he was our first Catholic president. Okay, Italians, now seen as white. This country hated Italians. Even in the 20th century, they weren't considered white. Benjamin Franklin hated Germans, Eastern European Jews who think they're white. Nope. Country hated you as well. Russians, country hated you as well. This is why it's so stupid. This whole concept of a master race, a pure race, Danielle, there is no such thing as a pure race. You do a 23andMe, we're a mix and mash of everything because everyone around the bend bred, mixed, traveled, right? That's why we're all these different skin tones. There's no master race. This is why white supremacy is lost. They want the pure race to survive. There's no pure race. They want white people to be on top. Define white people. It's a social construct. They are now terrified of the numbers. Elon Musk, for the past 10 days, Danielle, because you don't follow this, because you're not a masochist, just go look at his Twitter. Non-stop tweets about the white population declining, white birth rate, right? And then they somehow think they'll win, which is why it's so hilarious, because I'm like, have you seen the world? Most people are black and brown. And suppose, Danielle, they do win and they kick all of us out. What will happen if all black, brown, and Asian people are kicked out of America? Please tell me. What will happen that next day?
I mean, other than the unseasoned chicken, the lack of culture.
The country falls apart.
The country will fall apart. The country will fall apart.
It doesn't work, folks. So when I say that these people are traitors to the Constitution, that's your proof. These white supremacists, this MAGA movement, now it's not just Stephen Miller, folks. It's like Danielle said, it's at the Supreme Court. And the really dark humor that I have is you don't have to go to law school like I did. This is a 9-0 slam dunk. This is like in the Constitution.
I just want to, because I want to pull this
please.
up. Birthright citizenship is not in the Constitution. This is the argument that is being made by the Tennessee Attorney General. And Micah here says, so true, except for that one section where it is actually explicitly in the Constitution. 14th Amendment, Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. It is explicitly stated in the Constitution of the United States. So then again, I say, why is it that this MAGA-fied Supreme Court would take up a case that explicitly, right? Where is your argument? What is the argument? Right? So the argument then is to say, well, you white person, if you're from Finland, Norway, this or that, you get to be named as a citizen of the United States, because we're going to tell you what has actually been happening at citizenship ceremonies, these beautiful ceremonies that both of my parents went through, my grandparents went through that process of becoming citizens. It was the proudest day of their lives. And we'll tell you in a little bit exactly what is happening at these ceremonies. But like, essentially, what they are setting up and what they want is that the dominant white race that they fantasize about, this fiction that they have in their minds, becomes the solidified, only legitimate race and group in this country that is allowed to work, that is allowed to own property, that is allowed to trade, that is allowed to travel, that is allowed to have freedom of movement. What they want is a 21st century version of apartheid South Africa, which, by the way, apartheid South Africa got their ideas from Jim Crow South. They want to innovate off of the 100 years of Jim Crow and go back to this place, right, where they get to pick and choose who is legitimate and who is not, who is a criminal by birth and who is not. And so when you look at, because I want to play this clip.
Sure.
Which is of ABC News.
News now, the Supreme Court says it will hear an expedited appeal of President Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship by executive order. The court did not explain its decision, and the case will likely be heard next spring. For more than 100 years, courts, interpreted the Constitution to give U.S. citizenship to anyone born on American soil, regardless of the legal status of the parents. Now, that may hang in the balance. Our senior Washington correspondent, Devin Dwyer, joins me now. So this is clearly a huge deal and a lot's at stake, Devin.
A landmark case, Kira, and part of President Trump's immigration agenda, his crackdown he signed into law on the first day in office. And it's not the first time that the Supreme Court will look at this issue. You remember just about a year ago, the Supreme Court heard a case involving the president's attempt to end birthright citizenship. But at that time, the justices were squarely focused on whether individual courts around the country could block the order while the litigation continued. They ultimately said that nationwide injunctions were not okay, but judges found ways around them. That executive order remains on hold. Birthright citizenship is still the policy of the land, but now the president is back to the Supreme Court asking them to decide this issue on the merits. Even though, as you mentioned there in the intro, more than 100 years of legal precedent has established and reaffirmed that the Constitution does in fact spell out that anyone born on American soil is an American. And what the justices said this afternoon is that they are now going to take it up, decide it once and for all, likely next spring, Kira, when they schedule the case, and hand a decision down before the end of June.
And what's happening right now, Danielle, as of this recording, you know that there's hearings right now that are happening, right? The oral arguments with the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court right now, the same justices, if you have complete faith that of course they won't touch the 14th Amendment, right now, as we are talking, these oral arguments are so horrifying as the right-wing reeks in black robes on the Supreme Court are essentially allowing the president, let's be honest, the Republican president, let's be honest, Donald Trump, to have essentially complete authority. And Congress is just, I don't know, like an advisory council, and giving him supreme power to basically gut these agencies. That's happening in real time right now.
And I just want to say this because I want to put up this comment by DJ Uncle Mark. We need to stop legitimizing, right? Mainstream corporate media needs to stop legitimizing Donald Trump and this regime by saying that this is a part of his quote unquote immigration agenda. As DJ Uncle Mark writes, that's not an agenda. That's racism, right? This is not part of the immigration agenda. This is just explicit white nationalism.
Yep.
And if we don't call it what it is, then we fall into the same whitewashing euphemisms that are being used to legitimize what it is that Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, and the rest of them have been wanting, right, since the beginning of time. And so it is racism, and that's what it is. And that's what we need to call it. And we know that this Supreme Court is going to go along with it because they could have easily upheld lower courts' decisions, not involved themselves in this case whatsoever.
All these cases,
much in the same way that they have just handed over, right, allowing Texas to use their racialized, gerrymandered, racist fucking map for midterm elections, knowing good goddamn well that they did not bring this by the people in the way that Gavin Newsom did with California and said, let the people decide if we should change these maps. No, because Texas is run by an authoritarian piece of shit, Greg Abbott. 40%, right here. This is now the state of Indiana. 40% of Indiana voters voted for Kamala Harris. Under this new map, they will get zero representation. The Republican Party hates democracy. The Indiana House passes proposed congressional map 57-41, sending it to the Indiana state. Do you see the little blocks of blue? They will now completely erase that at all. So everything that Donald Trump has said that he's wanted, get me 100 seats so that we have a supermajority, get me 3 black robes on the Supreme Court that I now own. When I continue to say that nothing is going to change the situation that we're in, that people continue to hold on to the idea of midterms as if it is going to happen in a legitimate, free and fair way, this is the type of shit that I am talking about. We, the people, have got to decide that we have had enough. And my fear, Waj, is that 2026 is going to be the worst year on record that this country has seen in the 21st century. And that if these people in this country do not decide to band together for a national strike and fight back, we are absolutely done. This entire project is finished.
Let's connect the dots, and my response to you goes back to the 1860s. There was a civil war. Why was there a civil war? Because when given the choice between moving forward in this imperfect nation and living in practice the professed ideals of the founding fathers, who are all white, let's be honest, slave-owning aristocrats, right, and landowners, rich white men, this country, a part of this country, decided, nah, we'd rather be traitors who secede and will fight to the death in the most bloody war America has ever fought. And America, as a young country, not even 250 years, has fought so many wars. We are a very bloodthirsty country. We love wars. The bloodiest war that we fought in is the Civil War, where the South said, we would rather die and kill our literal own brothers to be racists instead of, just giving Black people their freedom. They said, no. We'd rather just secede and be traitors and own slaves. What did this country do? After these secessionists, these traitors to the Constitution, to the country, lost the war, our country said, you know what? Jefferson Davis and Robert E. Lee, you racist, treasonous losers, we're going to make you heroes.
Yep.
We're going to name monuments after you. Do you know how
Highways,
I know?
Elementary schools.
People always say, prove to me white privilege exists. I'm poor and I'm white. What are you talking about? My life sucks. I get it. This is my proof that white privilege exists. In order for me and Danielle to have a monument named after us, we would have to literally create monuments. We would have to be the discoverer of monuments. This country has statues and monuments after racist, treasonous, wait for it, losers.
Yep.
Losers of a war. Okay. This country decided to destroy itself because they said we would rather destroy everything than give Black people the right to vote. 14th Amendment. If you're born in this country, anyone, you become a citizen. Doesn't matter if you're all that immigration that happened here in the 19th century and 18th century, Daniel, wasn't that illegal when it was the whites? But I digress. You get to be a kid. And then America's like, whoa. No. If you're a Black person, your kid will be a slave. Your grandkid will be a slave.
Yep.
You're a slave forever. Even if you're in a free state, you're Dred Scott, you're going to be a slave, right?
Yep.
And it was a Supreme Court, separate but equal, Plessy v. Ferguson. Supreme Court, Dred Scott, right? So we're seeing them trying to go back, as Danielle said, as openly and blatantly as you can see. Trust the evidence of your eyes and your ears, to 1855, when a specific type, a specific class of white men, because it wasn't all white people. If you're poor, you're going to get effed. We're going to tell you in a second how they effed you. They've always been effing you. We're at top. And then another thing I want to add, women. They're also trying to go after the 19th Amendment. The church that Pete Hegseth belongs to, Christ Church, proud white Christian nationalists, have openly said that the 19th Amendment was a mistake, and a woman's duty and job is to be in the home. Danielle, can you tell people what the 19th Amendment is?
The 19th Amendment of these Constitution. You will have to forgive me because I just was in a place. This is the ratification of allowing women the right to vote. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Please.
So it's for all the white women watching right now, and with your white cousins and white uncles, and you think, you know what, the 55% who keep voting for Trump, the 52%, if you think, okay, I'll be safe, it's just Danielle and the Afghans and the Haitians and the Jamaicans and the Somalis. Oh, no. As someone said, it's about to get real quick. And so we call them traitors to the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
I've also said they hate democracy and American values because they hate free and fair elections. Look at their redistricting. They don't want anyone to have a vote, which clearly the founding fathers, despite their, deep flaws in racism. You know, if you're here in this country, you're a citizen, you get to vote. Also, last time I checked, they pardoned the January 6th insurrectionists. So so much for them loving
but
freedom.
are you sure? Because
Oh,
you know, here, your friend, your cousin,
hey, I don't know him. Hey, take it back.
I take it back. I take it back. Kash Patel loves to get on TV. God knows why, because he has a face for radio. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. Fact check post, appreciate them, parentheses, Donald Trump pardoned all of the January 6 rioters that broke into the Capitol. But this was Kash Patel talking about the update of the DC pipe bomber. And I'm just like, you are a joke. Like, the entire administration is a fucking joke. And I just wish that they weren't so dangerous and so cruel so that we could actually sit back and laugh at them. But we can't. Because this is a person that is in charge of the FBI, that in his twisted, dark little mind thinks that, oh, they're the crusaders. They're doing what's right for this country. They're the ones that are keeping people safe. And I'm just like, are we all supposed to believe that January 6, 2021 was a collective fever dream? Like, was that a collective fever dream for all of us? Like, we all just, sat down, took a hit of acid and made that up? Right? But Kash Patel, Donald Trump, and the entirety of MAGA and the Supreme Court want us to believe that we're the ones, right? That we need the National Guard in our neighborhoods to protect us against ourselves. That we're the ones that need to, because I want to go to this. I'm not playing this clip, folks, because I've made a decision that I do not like to amplify racism on this show, but we can talk about it. So here is Benny Johnson, one of the right-wing pieces of shit, white nationalist fucks that is at the Heritage Foundation and is going on and on and on about how, quote, diversity is not our strength. We must fight that poison and embrace our common American heritage. What the fuck common American heritage are you talking about, you fucking piece of garbage? Just out of curiosity. Is it the common American heritage of the indigenous people that saved your fucking ancestors from dying off during their first winter in this country? Right? And they returned the favor by raping, skinning, and, kicking them off of their land? Like, the deranged thinking that these people have, like, literally can send me on one. We must fight against the poison and embrace our common American heritage. Oh, you mean the breeding farms to breed human beings that your ancestors put together to put the strongest Black man and the strongest Black woman together in order to create the products that would further the capitalism of this nation? You mean that common heritage? The common heritage of the Trail of Tears, the common heritage of mass graves of indigenous people and stealing them from their homes and their tribes in order to brainwash them. And then if they didn't follow along, murder them. That tradition. I'm confused about what common American heritage Benny Johnson is talking about. Do you know, Waj?
Whiteness and the delusion of whiteness and the illusion of whiteness and the fraud and con of white supremacy. Not white people, folks. You all know, our audience, and I think most white people know. I know for a fact most white people know, or those who self-identify as white. We're talking about white supremacy, common heritage, American sovereignty, right? Have you noticed these terms? These are white nationalist terms that are now tweeted out on the regular. Yeah. By the Department of Homeland Security, by the Department of Labor, by the State Department, by the Trump administration, by the White House. Pete Hegseth also said diversity is not our strength. The Secretary of Defense telling our veterans, the most diverse fighting force on earth, right, that diversity is not our strength. Why? Because they know in a multicultural America, which this country has always been, they can't compete with the rest of us.
No.
They're mediocre.
Yep.
They suck.
Say
Their
it
vision
again.
sucks, their story sucks, their narrative sucks, which is why they have to take through any illegal criminal means possible. This gives you the Trump administration. They have actively removed women and people of color from the administration, from positions of influence, who were the most qualified, and replaced them with a confederacy of dunces, the Pete Kexets, the Duffy. Is that his name? The real world guy, our Secretary
Yep.
of
Sean
Transportation?
Duffy.
Yeah. Our
Christy
Cash
Nome.
Patels,
Go ahead. Yep.
Caroline Levitt, Pam Bondi, Christy Nome. Better watch your six, Christy. You in trouble, girl. Right? The world's most corrupt, racist, incompetent people. Right? You're seeing it in real time. The Benny Johnsons. Right? So when I'm making my argument that MAGA is a traitor to America and MAGA hates America, America's always been diverse. Always, even during the slave owning days, there were black people, Asian people, Chinese people helped build the railroads. The whites weren't considered whites. It was all different types of whites, Irish, Italians, indigenous people. There were black Muslims there because up to 30% of the slave trade that was forced to come here was Muslim, right? So Muslims have been here since the 16th century. This is a diverse country. So if you hate diversity, I'm going to make the argument you hate America and American values. If you hate free and fair elections, I'm going to make the argument you hate America and American values. If you are for the insurrection, if you are for this shameless, open, blatant redistricting where Donald Trump has literally said that I want 150 seats by any illegal means necessary, I believe you are against America. If you are against the Constitution, I believe you're a traitor to this country. So to me, you, MAGA right now, are actually the haters of America. And I'm here to say, maybe it's time for you to leave. You clearly hate this country. You clearly hate democracy. You hate diversity. You hate free and fair elections. You hate voting. You hate everything. Everything about America that has made this country great. You hate everything about us, which is why my parents and your parents, Daniel, came to this country. You seem to literally loathe this country. So why are you here? Leave. Go to Hungary. Go to Russia. Like, leave.
You know, and it's funny because you said, of all of the things you said, a light went off in my head when you said this country has been diverse since the very beginning. Yes. And for that reason, it is why we have the Electoral College. Can you talk about why we have the Electoral College, Waj? And why, when you even said the word, oh, they hate free and fair elections? Yes, they do hate free and fair elections. Their ancestors hated free and fair elections. And that is exactly why the Electoral College was created, to preserve, right, the dominance of rural white states in this country, so that it is an entire racist structure and system. Because you tell me, Waj, why out of all the different types of elections that we have in this country, at city council, mayor elections, governorships, why all of them are based on one person, one vote? The person with the most votes wins. But when it comes to the presidential election, all of a sudden we have this made up system called the Electoral College. Please. You're the lawyer.
You said it. It is a archaic system that the rest of the world doesn't really seem to understand. Why we can't just go with the popular vote in such a diverse country with 340 million, and why certain states get certain number of electoral voters, and then based upon the Electoral College and the magic number, then that decides who becomes the president. And if you really break it down and look at past 40 years, who has overwhelmingly won the popular vote, Danielle? Can you tell them?
Democrats.
So even in 2016, who won the popular vote?
Hillary Clinton.
Who became president?
Donald Trump.
Even though Joe Biden in 2020 won by a record number of votes and beat Donald Trump by 8 million, it still came down to what? About 5 states in the Electoral College. So now it's come down to about 7 states. These are about 5 to 7 states. Let's name them. Wisconsin, Michigan. What's the other one right there? Pennsylvania. Georgia now is a battleground state. Arizona, Nevada, and I would throw in, I probably put North Carolina in there. North Carolina is actually more blurple, but thanks to the obscene measures that the Republicans have gone through in the state to disenfranchise people, right? I would say those 6 to 7. So basically, folks, every election, regardless of the popular vote, regardless that the majority of people overwhelmingly go Democrats in the past 40 years, it comes down to about 5 to 7
Yep.
states. And it's rigged that way for white minority rule. The entire system has
Yep.
been rigged for white rule, and we have seen our country make a progress or attempt over the past 250 years to let this country expand and actually fulfill its vision and the way
Yep.
it sells itself to the rest of the world. And they are trying to undo aggressively all the advances that were made in the 50s and 60s, which is why I've said that the worst thing that could have happened to them was Brown versus Board of Education that desegregated schools, which has always been the cradle. It's always been public schools and racism that has been the cradle of the culture war. And lo and behold, Danielle, the latest culture war that helped Republicans get back in power, it's all about trans kids in schools, woke, and DEI.
And I'll just add this too, right? Just in terms of the Electoral College, in terms of the numbers, in terms of this entire country being rigged for the benefit of whiteness and white America, is there is not a decision that has been made that didn't clearly articulate exactly what they thought about Black and brown people in this country when we are talking about the designation of being 3/5. And why did that happen? Why were Black people, enslaved Black people, labeled as 3/5 of a human being? Because at that point in time in the United States, who was there more of? Black enslaved people. And so as not to count them, that would be counted against white people. They said they're not really fully human.
There you go.
So when people want to, when these Benny Johnsons and the Nick Fuentes and the Donald Trumps and the Stephen Millers and all of these people want to talk about how racism doesn't exist and how, the system is rigged to hurt the white man and all of these things, I just want to, when they're on their crusade to erase history, to deny facts, and they want us to dance around and embrace white American heritage. There is the entire country, the entire values, the entire system was based off of cradling whiteness.
That's it.
Right? Like, that's it. And everything that has been done since the formation of this country on tribal land, on indigenous land, since then, everything that has been done, every policy that has been created, every law that has been passed has been about the preservation of whiteness. Because you see, you stole people from their land, you landed on indigenous land, and then you realize, oh dear, we have to make them citizens of this country. You mean that they can't be our property anymore? And they tried to get rid of us. They tried to send Black people to Libya, right? Liberia. They tried to get rid of us, right? And that didn't work. And so here they are once again. Like, the thing that gets me, Waj, is that none of this is fucking new.
Nope.
It is all a rinse and repeat. Every fucking decade is a rinse and repeat. This is just the most audacious of the acts of white supremacy, because it's going even further than the Bull Connor days of segregation now, segregation forever, because they don't want us to exist, period, unless they're able to extract from us. We are only as valuable. Black and brown people in this country are only as valuable as what the white man can actually take from us. And if they can't take, then they want us gone or incarcerated so that they can extract for free. That is what we are building towards.
The death rattle of white supremacy has turned into a death march. As we have been saying for years, they're playing for all the marbles. It has been clear to the rest of us, with our eyes wide open, who do not suffer from a failure of imagination, who are true students of American history. Now I hope the evidence of your eyes and ears has convinced you, and now you can have, if you will, an investment in the imagination that the rest of us have, that you can see where this is going. And if you can't see it, Just look at it. Just open your eyes. They are eliminating DEI. They are firing people left and right. They are banning books. They're openly saying diversity. Can you go back to Benny Johnson before I have to say this to you because you're going to love this. They're saying diversity is not our strength. They're trying to end birthright citizenship. They say we come from shithole countries. They're trying to denaturalize citizens, people of color who are here. They're kicking out people, even children who are citizens. ICE agents are roaming the street. They're promoting Nazi terminology such as remigration. But sometimes the universe corrects itself because this is an ideology, a narrative of not just destruction, Daniel, self-destruction. I want to say again, white supremacy is a loser's narrative. White supremacists will lose. White supremacists have already lost. Now, I'm going to give an example when it comes to money in a second, but this one is just some breaking news from today. I put this example up yesterday. I've been following Benny Johnson. And we just got some news about an hour ago, which I have to share with you. It's just so good. Benny Johnson was a plagiarist at BuzzFeed. He got fired. Then he tried to make his career. So then he came into the right-wing ecosystem, okay? He was part of Tenet Media. Tenet Media was later found to have been a front for Russia, meaning that Russia gave millions of dollars to set up Tenet Media, and then they gave talking points to Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and David Rubin, who are these right-wing hacks. And then Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, and Tim Pool got all this money, and they're like, we had no idea that we were allegedly parroting anti-Western, pro-Russian talking points. Oops, my bad. Now Benny Johnson, his third incarnation, has reincarnated himself as a super hardcore white, conservative, masculine, traditional Christian male. He's trying to inherit the mantle of Charlie Kirk. However, this is so good, folks. There have been rumors, allegations, loud ones within MAGA, originating from MAGA for years, that Benny Johnson loves the grinder. That Benny Johnson allegedly is pounding dudes left and right while his wife is crying at Turning Points USA. And the person...
Jesus Christ, watch.
And the person who said that was the other former gay provocateur, Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo Yiannopoulos. And then after it came out, Saeed Jones, who's a black writer and editor at BuzzFeed, said, "Oh, this Benny Johnson." He went on Twitter and said, "I remember him. I made out with him when we were both drunk in the closet, and I wasn't the only dude at a BuzzFeed party." And then today, folks, I had to say this today, about 2 hours ago, Benny Johnson is threatening to sue Milo Yiannopoulos for defamation. And then Milo clapped back in this epic post that I wanted to send to you, Danielle, but we were going live and I read it. I'm like, oh, he goes, "I don't think you want to do that, Benny. I've heard a lot about you." So Milo just clapped back in this amazing post. So they're fighting amongst each other. And just, Danielle, before we move on, just your thoughts on that.
So first of all, like, I had to, like, my ears like closed after pounding. Like, if your ears can literally close up and go inside of your head, that's where mine went. No, the funny thing about, like, it's interesting. There is a
DJ Uncle Mark knows. If you want more, if you want your eyes to close, that's part of Milo's response. I digress.
There is a content creator that I follow, Blakely Thornton. And Blakely Thornton recently posted and said, this entire country is going to shit because of horrible, closeted white men, like, that cannot face their sexual identity, their sexual orientation, none of it. And because of their and what he was saying, and it was him and a bunch of other creators, what they were saying is basically that if you hate yourself so much, you will try and destroy everyone else.
That's right.
And so everything that we hear about these people in their accusations towards trans people, their accusations towards queer people, towards the LGBTQ community, is because when they see proud, queer people living their lives, it is an affront to the lie that they have trapped themselves inside of. And so because they cannot love and deal with themselves, they will destroy every fucking thing that they touch. And this is evidenced by Benny Johnson, by Lindsey Graham, by like all of these people that you've always heard quote unquote rumors about. And I'm not of the outing people type. I don't really give a fuck. I care when you decide to project your self-hatred out on the rest of us and then cause harm, because then it's all like, then fair fucking game. So Benny Johnson, my hope, I hope the entire fucking MAGA movement eats him fucking alive and spits him out, right? And I hope that they don't stop with him. I hope they go through the entire pack, because I'm telling you, when you look at these people, just think again. Elon Musk and the amount of fucking kids that he has, Donald Trump and the amount of kids and the amount of violence that they put out towards women. Why do you think that is? Right? And it is because of their hate of themselves, their hate of women. They have to prove their masculinity and their faux dominance. And that is why they do so much fucking harm. If the collective would just go to therapy, if the collective would just leave us the fuck alone, but no, this is why they manifest in the way that they in the way that they do.
From the top down, Donald Trump, it's never enough. It's all projection all the time, right? Look at MAGA. We're going to be against child pedophiles and predators. And you just found out Donald Trump's spiritual advisor in jail right now. Why? For sexually assaulting a teenager. Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump allegedly partied with girls. Epstein, we know, is a pedophile. One of the January 6th violent insurrectionists that just got pardoned was arrested for, guess what? Sexually assaulting a minor. Every single week there's a new pastor that comes out that is hardcore MAGA caught with a girl, right? The hatred of gay people, especially in MAGA right now in DC, the worst kept secret is all these guys are closeted gay dudes, right? Allegedly Benny Johnson, allegedly Matt Schlapp, right? All these men who talk about being Christian, hiding behind the cross for their sins but not really changing. Pete Hegseth got his third wife pregnant when he was cheating on her when he was married to his second wife. His mom sends him an email that you never want your mother to send you, where she says you're a liar, you're an abuser of women, and he paid off a woman $50,000 that he allegedly sexually assaulted. It's all projection all the time. They are weak and fragile men following a weak and fragile ideology of white supremacy. They need this delusion in order to make themselves feel that they are powerful.
Come on.
Right? And they give themselves an enemy. The enemy has always been black people, but it's the rest of us. And white supremacy is that comforting ideology for fragile, broken men and women who know that they're weak and mediocre, but it makes them feel like they're superior. Look at even Hitler. I wonder, man, if Hitler did not get rejected from art college,
right,
and apparently had a micro penis, according to the latest story that you've seen, right? You know, these are broken men, just like Donald Trump. It's never ever enough. And Danielle, can you stay 10 extra minutes today?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk about now. We're going to talk about we'll talk about it in a second. I want to talk about. I'm going to fast forward to talk about how this is so self-destructive, and then we go to the Usha and Melania of it all, because I want to talk about the hypocrisy. But ultimately, folks, when we say that white supremacy is destructive, it is also self-destructive. And now we're finally seeing the evidence. At the end of the day, the color that trumps even the color white in this country is the color green. Danielle, you love Harry.
I love Harry. I love Harry. One day I hope to meet Harry here in New York. But so here's the thing, because I post his rundowns all the time. Trump went from +10 to -52 with under 30 and under 30s in terms of his poll numbers in under a year. Because we all have to realize, and this is the shit that keeps me up at night, all of this has transpired in less than a year. It will be 1 year, January 20th, 2026. So in under a year, and I'm going to play the clip for you, because I want folks to understand these numbers used to matter, but we are inside of a fascist authoritarian regime that has no intention of holding free and fair elections. They have no intention of caring for and tending to the needs of the citizens of this country. Because if you did, you would see these numbers and you would do the opposite of everything that you've been doing for the past 11 months, but that's not what they're doing. Take a listen.
Donald Trump put in the best performance for a Republican presidential candidate among young voters since George W. Bush did back in the early 2000s. And you know, he started off his term, his net approval rating among voters under the age of 30 at plus 10 points. Hey, that's pretty gosh darn good. But you come over now, according to CBS News YouGov, this isn't falling into the water. This isn't going underseas. This is going into a deep, dark, black hole. Look at that, minus 46 points. That is a shift on the net approval of 56 points in the wrong direction since February. My goodness gracious, you know I love looking at these swings, looking how the electorate changes. You rarely ever see swings.
We
like
look
this.
at a lot of polls. We almost never see drops
No.
this big, this quickly.
Yeah.
Any sense of why? What issues may be driving it?
You know, look, we've been talking about it. You were talking about it last segment with Mr. Matt Egan. It's the economy, stupid. I mean, just take a look here. Age 18 to 29 on Trump and the economy. Back in October of 2024, who did those under the age of 30 trust? Harris or Trump? It was Trump by 10 points, according to the Marquette University Law School poll. Look at where his net approval rating is now on the economy.
I mean,
minus 52 points. Very similar to what we saw in the CBS News YouGov poll in terms of his overall drop in support on the net approval rating. And this minus 52, yeah, it's just stunning. It's just stunning. I mean, John is here with me. John, who, of course, ran a political campaign eons ago, someone who studied political science eons ago. I don't want to make you seem that old, but he's looked at these polls as long as I have, and he's just as stunned as I am, because the bottom line is you rarely ever see shifts like this.
Negative 52 percentage points. That is unheard of.
That and another way to look at it, if he was plus 10 and he's gone to negative 52 in less than a year, it's been a 62-point shift. And folks, I want to make the case now, and we're just fast forwarding, but we're going to talk about the ocean of it all. White supremacy at the end of the day, don't take my word for it. Don't take Danielle's word for it. You know, if you don't care about the Afghans, if you don't care about Somalis, if you don't care about people of color, it is ultimately self-destructive. You just saw what Donald Trump has done to the economy, right? Now, this is what Stephen Miller is saying. Wait for it. The entire Somali refugee program is predicated on a lie. Destroying your own country doesn't give you the right to become a citizen in ours. So they're blaming Somalis, Black people, refugees, immigrants for destroying America. To talk about how self-destructive white supremacy is, first, you've seen Donald Trump in the economy. Some breaking news as of an hour ago, Danielle, $12 billion bailout to farmers that just broke. Can you tell them why he's giving a $12 billion bailout to farmers?
Because they're killing themselves, and because he gave all of their money that they would have received in soybeans this past fall to Argentina, their competitor. He gave them $40 billion. And then, the Chinese have not decided to buy a soybean from the United States, when this trade usually is into the billions of dollars with our farmers. And instead, they've decided to go to South America, even though there is a tariff there, because when they looked at what the numbers were going to be to get money to get the soybeans from the United States, they said, fuck the US. And so now, after reports of people killing themselves, after reports of entire family farms going belly up, Donald Trump is now turning around and saying, let me not have all of these white farmers, because I'm certain that the Black farmers ain't going to get shit.
Nope.
But let me give the white farmers $12 billion. Did I get that right?
No notes. Chef's kiss. Absolutely. And now even this $12 billion bailout, the white farmers who are suicidal said, we don't want a bailout. This is just a Band-Aid. So it's like a person burning down your house and then throwing a bucket of water that saves the kitchen while the rest of the house is burning and says, look at me, I saved you. This is white supremacy. Also white supremacy. Did you see this video, Danielle? Can you tell
I
me what
did.
just happened here? Because it's so emblematic of America. I thought this was so beautiful in its microcosm.
So, a Hispanic Amazon driver who is a U.S. citizen was delivering packages in his own car. And this man, white man, opened the door, started asking him where he was from and what he was doing there. And then he started following him to his car while threatening him with his dog, and shut the car door on him. And the guy in question was his own Amazon delivery person.
He was dropping stuff off
He
for
was
him.
dropping stuff off for him.
I mean, Danielle, this is white supremacy. It is so stupid and self-destruct. Folks, this country,
So
instead of
fucking
having
dumb.
black kids swim with white kids, this
They
country
drained the fucking pool.
chose to drain the pool. Now, Danielle,
Ugh.
we were talking about how diversity is not our strength, and this administration has gone out of its way aggressively, openly, loudly to destroy all DEI programs and the words DEI. And we said, this probably won't be a good idea for the American economy. Danielle, can you share this gem that came out yesterday?
Oh yeah. So evidently now, because of Trump's DEI, admissions and higher education experts say Trump's ban on DEI is likely to hit an underrepresented group of applicants. Who is that group? In fact, men, and particularly white men.
White men.
Nationwide, the number of women on campuses has surpassed the number of men more than 4 decades. So again, I love this for them, and it's always amazing because this is this is connected to the fact that white men are struggling with loneliness, that they can't find anyone to date, that they can't find, jobs, that they can't find these things. Why? Because you're wildly mediocre, and I need a new word, right? And this is why they are now falling in love with AI and a frictionless existence, because they can't fucking compete. And then the women that they are going after are more educated than them, more empathetic than them. And just, I mean, it is...
It's a death cycle. It's a death spiral, and it's so sad because all of it was avoidable. And then, wait, no, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. But let me go back to this because I have to talk about how they're going to destroy themselves, folks, because it's just too good. This is JD Vance. All right, JD Vance, for those who don't know, has an Indian American wife. Usha
How
Vance.
do you not know that? I don't know, but okay.
He has biracial kids. One of his kids is named Vivek. His family that embraced him and loved him are all Indian immigrants who didn't come here as citizens, came here as immigrants, then became citizens, and who were born not in America, but born in India, and are brown skinned and speak multiple languages. JD Vance tweets, "Mass migration is theft of the American dream. It has always been this way in every position paper, think tank piece, and econometric study suggesting otherwise is paid for by the people getting rich off of the old system." Okay. His wife is Usha. His children are biracial. Danielle, can you please tell me, does this apply to his family?
I guess not. I guess it doesn't apply to his family. Like, I guess in his mind, like, I guess him, Donald Trump, they all have asterisks next to their families filled with immigrants, his family filled with people of color. But here's the thing. Like, I know you're going to give us like Usha update and all of this shit. You know, and I know that there are people inside of every community of color, right, who align themselves with whiteness,
That's
with
right.
white people.
That's right.
So that, right, they can eat high on the hog.
That's
like,
right.
This is the reality. When you come to this country, right, your family is immigrants, you come to this country and you look and you see very clearly the totem pole of America.
Yep.
You see who is on top, you see who is on the bottom. And there are some that believe that if they just do the right jig, if they just rid themselves of their accents, if they give themselves these white Anglo-Christian names, if they just do the right thing and they get entries into the country club, and they go to the right schools, and they hang out at the right parties, and they marry the right people, that then, right, they'll become the Nikki Haleys and the Vivek Ramaswamis, and they'll become the Clarence Thomases, and everyone will forget, like, oh my God, you're just so smart and funny. I almost forget that you're Black. I almost forget that you're Indian. I almost forget these things. And they take those cloaked insults as a compliment because they want to be white, that they want to give up any pieces of themselves that showcase difference, and they want to assimilate. And so when they see these things, they're like, it's not me, it's going to be those people. It's why you had Latinos for Trump. It's why you had Blacks for Trump. It's why you had Cubans for Trump, because they all thought, right? Because Chet and Brett and the rest, and Muffy and Tuffy, that they all had been dining together and sending their kids to the same schools, that they would be good. Except guess what? You can erase your color.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it. And unfortunately and tragically, some Somali immigrants and Somali Muslims who voted for Trump are finding out this week. Latinos are, Black folks are, because, folks, the hypocrisy is so stunning. Donald Trump is married to an immigrant. Barron Trump, by their own definition, is an anchor baby. Melania Trump brought her family from Slovenia through chain migration. Usha and J.D. Vance have brown kids. He's a race traitor. Their words, not mine. His family is what? Immigrants. What? From India. Chain migration. That's okay. But you're not part of the club. And so this is what's happening. This is what they're doing with their hypocrisy and their cruelty in real time. A Somali American U.S. citizen was grabbed and detained by Trump's ICE goons for 24 hours. They sexually assaulted her and said, what could you be hiding under your hijab? And just like last week, Donald Trump, in his attack against Somalis, also mocked Ilhan Omar and said, always swaddled with her hijab. The extent of their cruelty and hypocrisy. Immigrants were kept from the citizenship ceremony as feds cracked down nationwide. These are people, folks, for those who don't know, they're already vetted. The most vetted people on earth, right? They have gone through the interviews, background checks, classes, citizenship test, right? The naturalization ceremony is literally one of the most beautiful ceremonies. It's what the rest of the world looks at and goes, wow, look at America, where anyone can come here, become a citizen. People cry. People bring their entire families. As they're at the ceremony, folks, I want you all to sit with this. The ICE agents showed up, and as they were lining up, they said, what country are you from? What country are you from? What country are you from? And they had a list of, I think, about 19 countries. And then based on those countries, those people raised their hand, they took them out as they were about to finalize their oath-taking ceremony and said, no, we have to vet you further. The degree of cruelty. The USCIS directed its employees to halt adjudicating all immigration pathways for people from 19 countries deemed to be high risk. One of our clients said that she had gone to her oath ceremony because she hadn't received the cancellation notice in time. She showed up as scheduled, and when she arrived, officers were asking everyone what country they were from, and if they said a certain country, they were told to step out of line and their oath ceremonies would be canceled. And if that wasn't the worst story of the day, we're going to give you with hits, and then we're going to leave you with some mockery. This woman, I saw the video. There were two Somali Americans, one of them hijabi. They took a video. We're not going to post the entire video. I'm sure you've seen gone viral. They're at a Cinnabon. This lady says, yes, I am a racist. Uses the N-word several times. Proudly says she's a racist. Knows she's on camera. Looks at the camera. I saw the whole video. Says it. They're like, what's wrong with you, lady? You're going to get fired. She goes, I don't care. N-word, N-word, N-word. I'm a racist. What you going to do about it? Cinnamon, thank God, responded, said that this lady has been fired. This lady now also has been arrested in the past for endangering 3 children. This lady who looked at the camera and proudly said that she was a racist and used the N-word, and I don't care. She's an employee at Cinnabon. No matter how bad the customer is, I don't know, Danielle. Have you ever gone on an insane, unhinged rant calling people the N-word and saying that you're a racist when you're pissed off and you know people are filming you when you're an employee? Have you ever done that before? I haven't done it.
No,
Just
because
asking you.
I'm not an unhinged lunatic.
Same here. So you would think, and I predicted this, I said, just wait. I remember in May, Shiloh Hendricks, a white woman, was caught on camera just like this, and she said the N-word repeatedly, but not to a customer at a park, and the N-word she used was against an autistic 5-year-old black boy.
Yep.
Mainstream MAGA raised $800,000 for her. I said, let's just see. As of yesterday, mainstream MAGA has made this woman into a hero and raised $80,000 for her. To which I say real quick, if we can go overtime for a second. Danielle, I want to ask you this before we talk about the self-destruction and patheticness of white supremacy and mock Donald Trump. As you know, I've been in some hot waters last week, allegedly. I've been drinking my chai, folks, because I responded to Donald Trump's hateful rant on Thanksgiving where he went against immigrants, said we should go to third world countries, mock Somalis, right? And you've seen my rant, which many of you have seen on the left hook. 1,500 people were there watching live. Most of my audience is white. They agreed with me. The right wing then said, look at Wajahat and how he hates white people. Oh, no. I was talking about white supremacy. And I differentiated white supremacists from, everyone, including white people who aren't white supremacists. But if you're a white supremacist, I was talking about you. And guess what? Hit dogs holler, right? And I've had some people in my community who only saw that edited clip, and they said the following, Dan. And I wanted to ask you this. I want your thoughts. Why incite them watch? Why trigger them watch? Why needle them? This is going to be used against us. Oh, this is going to make more people into white nationalists. And my response is the following. I saw the movie Avengers. There's this great scene where Captain America tells Hulk, all right, time to get angry now and transform into Hulk. And Bruce Banner responds to him and goes, I'm always angry. And when I think of white supremacists, white nationalists, my take on this, and I really wanted to hear your take on it, because maybe I did something wrong. I don't know. They're always angry. They hate us no matter what. They hate us when we're joyful. They hate us when we're walking with a hoodie down the street. They hate us when we're in Minneapolis. They hate us when we're Afghan refugees succeeding in Fremont. They hate us when we're trying to run for office. They hate us when we're broke and trying to get another job. They hate us when we're in Silicon Valley. They hate us if we run for office. They hate us no matter what. We don't have to incite them. We don't have to anger them. They're always angry. Even if we're not doing anything, they still come after us. They're just looking for a justification, if you will, to rationalize their hate and white supremacy. So what I said was, if it wasn't me, it'd be someone else. And furthermore, they even lied about what I said to justify their hatred. And the final thing I'll say is, Danielle, I didn't make anyone be a Nazi. I didn't make anyone be a white supremacist. I'm not making anyone say the N-word. If anything, I'm just removing their hoods. But your response?
My response is what Audre Lorde said so many, many years ago. Your silence will not protect you, right? We have to understand that these people are never going to see our humanity. They are never going to stop with their desire to take this country down its white supremacist nationalist path. They are never going to ease up just because you're one of the quote unquote good ones, right? You're the one that keeps your head down and just does your work. No, because they come for you when they say that you're an immigrant that doesn't work and you're lazy and you're just coming in to suckle on this country. And yet, where are they arresting people? At their jobs. They say that these people are criminals and all they want to do is take over this country. And where are they arresting them? At court, where they are going through the right legal pathways in order to become legalized citizens of this country. Where are they pulling people out of line? At their ceremonies to become U.S. citizens, which takes many, many years to do so, many, many background checks. They say, do things the right way and you will be safe. So my response is, there is no amount of retreat that we could do. There is no way to make ourselves small enough to be left alone. So I say very clearly, fuck Every single one of them. I will not hold my tongue. Waj will not back down. People are going to continue to speak out because you know what? Your silence is not going to save you. In the end, they are going to come for every single one of us. They just go in order of where the low-hanging fruit is. And so the idea is that they're going to come for Waj. Why? Because they want to make an example of him. See, we got him to shut up, which means that it'll be easier the next time we go down the line. And what I say is that we're not going to shut up, that we're going to get louder, that we're going to get more ferocious, that we're going to get more organized, that we're going to develop bigger strategies, because they are never going to stop. And so we can't stop. And so for that, all I say to my friend Waj consistently is just keep talking and remain as safe as you can possibly stay inside of this country that was designed to kill and silence all of us. And I will add this to the white folks listening to this show, our wonderful white audience members. This is your fucking time. This is your time to shine. And why do I say that? Because they are coming for everyone based on how they look. So we need you on the front lines. We need you to put your bodies on the line to protect the rest of us. We need you to get louder than you have ever gotten and to be consistent in the hell that you are raising. We need you to lift up your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues, because it is your turn, because they're not coming for you first. They'll come for you eventually.
Oh, they will.
But they're not coming for you first. So this is your moment, your time to put your money where your mouth is, to put your action, right, where you say your values are. It is your time.
This is your John McClane Die Hard moment. This is your Ripley alien battle the alien queen moment. This is it. I've been saying the same thing. This is your hero moment. This is your Tom Cruise moment, white folks. They're coming after you. They call you anti-fascist. They call you terrorists. They're doing tear gas against white priests. They're pummeling 79-year-old white shopkeepers. You think you're safe? They're coming after all of you. And I just want to say in the past real quick, for the white folks who helped black folks in the civil rights movement, they called you race traitors. This country went to war with white folks for trying to end slavery. So if you think you'll be safe, you haven't paid attention. And if you think the system will protect you, you're suffering from a failure of imagination. John McClane moment, folks. This is it. Die Hard. And bring it full circle. And I thought just certain images were just so encapsulate everything we've been talking about on this extra loaded 80-minute show. White supremacy being a myth, a con, a delusion, a lie, a narrative that comforts the fragile, the broken, the mediocrity. I mean, Danielle. Please.
I mean, I'm so sorry because I had, put together from Michael's crafted a fake ass medal for you as well. And I left, and I didn't complete it. But I
is
wanted,
my medal.
Yeah, I I wanted to match what it is that Donald Trump has received here. Which was some made up prize from the FIFA.
Yeah, FIFA Peace Prize, literally made up. You're absolutely on point. FIFA Peace Prize.
And I will shout out Gavin Newsom, who I think social media team posted that he got the Costco Peace Prize. And so he was really proud of that. When you can't compete, you do this type of shit, which would be funny if they weren't so sad and mediocre. But look at Donald Trump's face. Look how happy he is to accept this fake piece of trash.
Danielle, I literally made this for my father when I was 8, and he found it for me and gave it to me. So this is the with the power vested in me by myself, hereby is Wajahat Ali's first annual Peace Prize given to Wajahat Ali. Now witness me and congratulate me, Danielle.
Congratulations. You are an exquisite human.
The best human. And speaking about white supremacy, self-destruction, Kennedy Centers, for those who don't know, was just a beautiful annual ceremony celebrating the best talent. There was a beautiful ceremony at Kennedy Center right here in DC. It was then later televised, I usually think on PBS. Donald Trump took it over when he asked, can you imagine receiving Kennedy Center honor next year? Folks, you think me and Danielle are crazy. Just trust the evidence of your eyes and ears. Danielle, what did he say?
What that he was going to nominate himself.
White supremacy. And then finally bringing it back full circle. Why white supremacy is ultimately not just destructive, so avoidable in its pain and its death, but finally self-destructive. Danielle.
Ticket sales at the Kennedy Center plunged 43% after Trump's takeover, with empty seats, staff cuts, and artist boycotts, reflecting a documented decline in attendance and engagement. It is a travesty. The Kennedy Center is one of the most iconic and beautiful venues to see any type of, when I lived in DC, I've been to the Kennedy Center multiple times to see ballets, to see symphonies, to just experience like outdoor concerts that they would put on in the summer for free for the people of Washington, D.C. And Donald Trump destroyed the center. But that is what fascism and authoritarianism does, is that they look to destroy culture. They look to destroy everything that they touch, because they know that culture, when we hear and can connect through art, through music, right? That is what gives our society its oomph. It's what gives us its authenticity, its beauty. And in order to take over, you must destroy those things. You must not allow people to see themselves. You must not allow people to find community. You must not allow reflections of the truth. And that's why you go after culture and art institutions. That's why you go after universities and destroy them, because you can't have thinkers, right? You can't have people critically thinking and asking questions about the world around them. You just need sycophants. You need worker bees. You need silence, and you need whiteness.
And you need a Supreme Court. Washington Post just published 2 minutes ago, the Supreme Court poised to expand Trump's power over independent agencies. The justices, the extremist reeks, seem likely to allow the president to fire a member of the Federal Trade Commission, a ruling that could limit or overturn a 9-decade-old precedent that insulated some agencies from political influence by the executive. And I want to remind you all that this same Supreme Court said Joe Biden was overstepping his authority when he tried to forgive student loan debt. White supremacy is self-destructive. Folks, this was an extra super long show. I kept Danielle longer than I thought. I'm going to be on with Deborah Shushan in about 2 minutes. I hope she's listening, and I'll be there, Deborah. And what that is it's going to be an extension of this conversation, but specifically about why there has to be an alliance between Muslims and Jews to fight against genocide abroad and fascism at home, because they're using anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, as you have seen, as a vehicle for white supremacy and fascism. And there's a divide and conquer moment, and too many people are being sucked up into the vortex without realizing what they're actually fighting, which is each other when they should be fighting the oligarchy. So we're going to talk about that. It's very important. Deborah is brilliant. And folks, you've been watching this on Danielle's YouTube channel. Try to get Danielle to 60,000 now, Danielle.
I mean, I just, folks, I'm at 35, would love to be at 40, would love to be at 50, would love to be at 60. So keep pushing, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing. And for the super stickers and super thanks that poured in today from Demetria, from Meme, from Megan, who became a YouTube channel subscriber, and also $50 for having missed the shows, from DJ Uncle, $3 from Susan, our incredible moderator, $10. PJ became a member of the channel for a month, as well as $300, which I can't describe to you how far that goes. A DJ again, Jimmy with $5, Susan again
awesome.
with 10 and 5, Game Shark. you know, folks, every single dollar that you donate, every single like, every single comment, every single subscription goes a long way. We are battling here against evil. We are doing our part, what we believe we've been called to do, to lift up truth, to connect the dots. And you allow us the ability to do that. Please go. Waj has your discount is still going on your Substack.
The discount is still going. I just shared it, folks. It's www.thelefthook.substack.com/discount. I'm trying to put it in the comment sections. thelefthook.substack.com/discount. Everything is free. And this is the first time we've ever asked. We're terrible capitalists.
Terrible.
So everything is free. If you have no money, fine. The Damn Digest is free. The Left Hook on Substack is free. Danielle's YouTube channel is free. My YouTube channel is free. But if you can, become a paid subscriber to Damn Digest. She has a discount up to the new year.
Yep.
I have a discount up until the new year, which was very successful during Thanksgiving. So we've kept it up to the new year. If you want to help us, it's only $50 a month, but I put my discount for now $38 a year, $375 a month. I think Danielle's yours is the same, right?
I have 20%. What I'm doing is 20% off yearly subscription, and I'm doing that, friends, for this entire holiday season until Christmas Eve. So again, Waj and I, terrible. We keep all of our things free. So if you don't have the money, which we know that many people do not, just like, comment, and subscribe for free and share on your platform, share with your community. But otherwise, yes, do consider becoming a paid subscriber to The Left Hook. Waj interviews 67,000 people a week, and you should know each and every single person that he interviews. So become a paid subscriber over at The Left Hook if you have the ability to do so, and as well at the Damn Digest. Friends, we will see you on Wednesday for our midweek check-in, which hopefully will bring us better news, but probably fucking not. But we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for staying for this supersized democracy-ish. And thank you so much for being supporters of us. And please, oh please, as Waj says, don't be a fascist. We will see you on Wednesday live for our midweek check-in on Substack. Until then, bye, friends.